Star Magic. Oh my goodness, I am so happy that you are here. Sorry, there's a bit of a glare over there. Oh boy. So it's one of my favorite readings to do. We're gonna do pregnancy messages. Yay! Yeah. So excuse the live version of this because it's sort of when my friend, of course, wants to join us. But it's hard for me to upload stuff in terms of I'm just doing straight up like this, so there's no editing, so I apologize. But you will see all the timestamps up below, and if you want information about the oracles, there's links down below as well, and if you want to donate to the channel, also links below, and if you want to book a personal reading, also links below. Okay, with all that stuff out of the way, just let's go ahead and look at pile 1. So this is pile 1, this is pile 2, and this is pile 3. I'm going to actually hold you up so you can actually see. Maybe I'll hold them all up so you can see them all good. So this is pile 1, pile 1, pile 2, and then pile 3. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let's get it all settled in. Inhale and close our eyes. I always say like shift around a little bit. Sometimes that helps the energy flowing. And then as we exhale and open our eyes, choose whichever pile draws you to it. Alright, let's do this. Alright. So, here we go. Group 1. Oh, I like that you chose this beautiful card. So pregnancy messages coming here. Inspiration. We have inspiration. Be prepared as well. Soon receive a visit from a fairy of inspiration. Come dusk or dawn, she can call you at any time. So the whole thing here where it's like be prepared, you'll soon receive a visit from the fairy of inspiration. So I almost feel like it's not just the fairy of inspiration, but for those of you who are been trying to get pregnant, this might be the fairy that comes in and, you know, like if there's any blocks, it kind of clears them, or helps you to clear them, right? I also feel like there's a sense of like being prepared. This is very important. So what I always say is like, if you're trying to get pregnant, you know, prenatal's good, all that kind of preparation too. I feel like also mentally preparing yourself, like envisioning yourself, like yes, I can be a, you know, like I could be a parent, mom or dad, whatever it is, right? And then if you are already pregnant, yay, congratulations. It's kind of about, yeah, it's still like the preparation. I've always like, you know, kind of getting ready, mentally prepared for this, you know, addition into your life. It's pretty awesome. But it's also like with any kind of shift, or any kind of change, there's always like needing to prepare. So for those of you who are doing that, like maybe nesting a little bit, you know, starting the process of it. And also, but with that, I have to also say that allowing, there's a flow to it too. Don't be too stuck on how we, you know, we sometimes create ideas or I would say like movies in our head of how things are gonna flow out, like plan out, but then there's you know, life always throws us a curveball. So I feel like whatever it is, whatever inspiration is coming your way, I really do think that's like, I feel like it's definitely coming from your higher self here with this beautiful purple. So higher, like, you know, there is this sense, and I don't know, for me it's a very light feeling, like it's like very optimistic, like things are going, you know, like things are working out in one way or another, especially because I feel like for some of you what I'm saying is like if you weren't quite there yet, but something like, I feel like this energy, right? Because I feel like the fairies can definitely be, you know, if you can see them, good for you, but it's also, I feel like, an energy as well, like they kind of like gently tap on you, and you, it's sort of like it ripples inside you. I hope that makes sense. It's sort of like the rippling is sort of like the ideas, the inspiration that are coming through. So this energy is coming, whether you're pregnant or not pregnant, doesn't matter. This is a beautiful energy here coming through. So let's see what other things are coming. Oh, look at that. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. And these are by Vila Ventero. This is her eye candy, and this is her colorology. I can't speak sometimes. So look at this. can oh my goodness, this is actually perfect, I would say, for like breakfast. I'm hungry at the time that I'm filming this, so but look at that. So nourishment, this is all about, and this is also maybe preparing. There's a sense of coming, like nourishing, taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, taking care of your like spirit. I would say, yeah, definitely spirit as well as a strong one here, because we sometimes we either focus too much on one aspect but not the other. So definitely taking care of your body, but also your spirit. Like yes, like I don't know. I always I feel like there's a sense of maybe meditation, walking around. I don't know. Walking meditation is really good too. And there's also here, look, health, happiness, and good times. I mean, come on. And it really does feel like maybe for some of you this is actually a thing. Maybe for you, give yourself a little treat and maybe go for some like bananas. Bananas is also really good for potassium, but it just for me, banana is always like kind of like a mood enhancer. So I would just say, like, look at this optimism, really happy. Um, yeah, I keep getting called into like a sort of like if you've been kind of inspired to bake or cook, that might just be something that you might want to like follow through here. It just feels like there's a sense of like needing so there for me it's sort of taking action in some way. So it's like yes, meditating, and that's why it was more I think walking meditation versus just meditation. And that's for the spirit. It's sort of like there's a need to actually like do things, right? Not just like and even the nesting part, maybe like even that's a kind of starting building and things. I hope that makes sense. It's sort of like needing action, like it's sort of getting out of your head a little bit and then actually putting it into action. So very like beautiful energy. Also wanted to say with this one, it's okay to give in to like some cravings because I feel like for some of you are like, oh my goodness, no. It's like especially for my healthy conscious people, quote unquote, it's like healthy, like I like to eat really healthy, and you're like, oh my goodness. It's like don't beat yourself up too much about that. It's okay. Like I feel like sometimes our body gives us like tells us what it needs, and that's not something else. Our spirit also tells us what it needs too, and that's also an important thing. So I feel like that inspiration is also like guided. This is such a interesting reading because I feel like it's sort of like the focus isn't so much on it really is focused on well-being in general, and that's a thing whether and again it's not just a physical one, but it's just like a spiritual spirit one that's guiding you as well. So this is an interesting one, very very light energy. I like this energy a lot. Let's see what we have here for you. Yep. Oh, look at that. All right, so and this actually explains a lot here. um and why I'm saying this. And I do like this. I like that you have a 10 and a 10 here, and look at the difference, right? The 10 of Swords here, totally. Like for me, the 10 of Swords is sort of like you're completely feeling drained. I always think about maybe worries. It could just be also other people's demands. Not. I always put a caveat with that. Other people's demands. That we take on because other people can ask for us to do stuff, even demand, right? But it's really up to us to say yes or no, right? We don't have to do what other people want us to do. It's always an option that we have. I also see here that there's like I love this. There's just like I'm sorry, like because it's such a reflection. Look, 10, 10, 4, 4, and then we have the star, and then I love that the star is the middle one. But back to this. So we have I want to say so this is the energy of you being depleted, and that's the energy I feel before the inspiration fairy comes or the inspiration energy comes. So very much depleted. I feel like worries, maybe also just people's demands. You just feel like this is you, right? Um, and then, but we're working our way instead to the Ten of Pentacles, which is quite lovely. And oh wow, look at that! I also like that this is like Pentacle energy, and this is the Sword energy, and it's telling us. It's really this is the difference. This is why I'm really liking this because it's very clear the message here. Um, and the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is also energy. I'm gonna say like this is like the before and this is like the after kind of. So the before is this Four of Pentacles is like being very much, you can see it's drawn in, it's closed off, worrying about things, trying to like kind of, I almost want to say a little bit controlling, because not in a bad way at all, but controlling in the sense that you want to be ready. You really want to be ready. You're like, I want to be prepared, and this is, look at this. This is being prepared, but this is a different energy here than being prepared here. This is more like closing off versus being prepared. Like, okay, I think this is such a thing of like a prepared in like, oh, do we have money? Do we, like, everything is like, there's a sense of lack. That's the difference here versus this. Okay. And so we have the star here, all about healing, all about being optimistic, all about that. And that's the center here. And that's this. And it's right underneath the inspiration, because that is that energy that's coming through. You're healing. You're allowing flowing of look at this, flowing of emotions. And look at this. There's the flowing of emotions that you're letting go over here, but they're also here planting like little seeds, taking care of the water here. Also just removing like some emotions. We're just putting it back into the lake of emotions, or the ocean of emotions. So there's a lot of healing energy here. Oh my goodness, I just realized I did not have my microphone on. Oops, hopefully you can hear me well. So sorry if it doesn't come through as clean as it could, but I'm gonna go with it because I just feel like this is a good message here. So yeah, healing, inspiration, that's coming through here. We're kind of releasing this energy here, and we're going in. What do we here have? The four of swords, and this is countering here the ten of swords. The ten of swords is countering or the four of swords is countering the ten of swords. So instead of having this energy of like being depleted, really like drained of energy, it's the answer here is very simple. It's like you need to rest. You need to like take time for like relaxation, napping. I feel like letting go of those worries and just really resting, putting the swords down, putting them all like, look at this, all over here on the body right here. This is just kind of one here, and then other ones hung up over there. So it's like there's a sense of like clearing them out. They're not on you anymore. You're putting them down, putting down your worries, putting out all your I have to do's. I have to like no, we're no longer doing that. And I want to say that like from the Four of Pentacles we go to the Ten of Pentacles, which is again understanding, well, family is definitely a big strong one there, but it's understanding the abundance that you already have. And so for those of you who are trying to get pregnant, here is again like this is a clear message onto how to do it. And of course, I'm not an actual like what do you do, a professional at that. But what I'm seeing here is that we have to let go of those worries, and I feel like all the things that are draining you in general, letting go of this like scarcity, like, and almost like a little control there, but it really comes from fear and scarcity. So like for me, it's like a sense of letting go. So releasing emotions that we no longer need, and healing, like being optimistic, healing like the water needs to go on the plants that we do want. Resting, right? So this is likely that, look, I want you to see this. Oh my goodness, I love how I notice these things. And here in the resting, you have the little baby unicorn and the big mama unicorn. So that's something that this for me is a very, very strong positive message, especially if you're trying to get pregnant. If you are already pregnant, this is just kind of confirming, hey, this is what your body and soul needs at this time, like rest. Focusing again on like happiness and joy and the abundance that you do have, putting that together. So that is a very beautiful message. I'm like wow, blown away by the beauty of this group one. So let's also see what we have here for more messages. So you have courage. So strength is here in the polar bear. And so courage. You can endure, find your center, and spiral into your power. And this is the power here. Your power is not being like worrying about all these other things or being here. Your power really comes in the start, in the inspiration, in the healing. The courage is to heal. And courage is to say no to things, to not only like people and things and like but also to your own worries, to say, hey, no, like I'm facing my worries. And that's another thing, we often don't face our fears, we think we're facing them, but what we're doing is actually pushing back, and that feels really uncomfortable. It's only when we actually say, I'm afraid of this, this is something that I'm afraid of, then we recognize it, and then our inner strength comes out. But when we're pushing away the fear and we're trying to pretend we're not actually afraid of it, right? And it's like a niggling thought. It keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you're all drained out from all these worries because you haven't been actually acknowledging them. And then I always say I'm a believer in actually speaking out. Like I say, well, yeah, I do. I say what I'm afraid of. I actually, say it out loud because I feel like otherwise my brain is gonna say like, nope, we're just gonna ignore it. I say it out loud and I'm like, okay, or I write it out. When it's basically I put it on somewhere, my fears and what they are, and then I sort of, that really does help me release them. So I feel like because my inner strength comes in and goes like, okay, can I do something about it? No, okay. So then we're like, then we just kind of, I leave it to God, or you could leave it to Spirit, or to your angels, or whoever it is. But I leave it there, and I feel so much better. So I highly, that is something I highly recommend. I do want to say more. I'm like, I like to have some come out, but I also feel like some other stuff. So what other guidance or information about pregnancy for the collective of group? Build, yeah. And this one's actually quite beautiful because it is this sense of building, preparing, building things. But there's also, I always say there's a caveat also with this one because it's a sandcastle, right? So it's the joy of building a sandcastle. Kids build sandcastles not because it's going to endure forever, but rather because it's the joy of building, creating. It is really, if you really think about it, the joy of creating is what really guides us to do almost anything. It's never and that's the whole the outcome. It's never gonna, sandcastles won't last forever. And that's here is like you're trying to keep that sandcastle and making it forever. And the universe is like, no, it's the joy of the building. It's the joy of preparing. If you're not enjoying this preparation aspect, if you're not being inspired to be like, oh my goodness, this is going to be exciting, and then sometimes that I feel like that's guiding you to say, hey, you're looking at it the wrong way. Shift your perspective. And that's what I would say to you. All right, let's see what other guidance we have. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. Yes, yes, yes. And it's like being prepared. Yeah, this seems like beautiful. So, squirrel, always prepared. You are the expert of hard work and hard play. And I like that it brings a balance here. Hard work, but there's also hard play. Your cheerful, fun disposition is a blessing to everyone. Don't let life's distraction take you off your course. Make a plan for the future, and life will give you all you need. So, yep, not needing to worry. And again, it's making a plan, right? For the future. Make a plan for the future, but you're not gonna. It's still in the future. You're gonna kind of life will give you, what you need to make it happen. But not to struggle with it. That's the thing. That's a kind of a every so often I think of these questions sort of by observing life. It's like, are we meant to struggle? I don't know, because sometimes I can see the value of struggle, and then, but I think there's a difference in struggling for girls and just struggling. How do I say it? Like when a kid learns how to tie their shoelaces or learn anything, there's a little sense of frustration, right, when it comes to hey, as you learn it, but they're also kind of encouraged. They don't just kind of quit on it. They're like, okay, I can do this. There's always a sense of things are going to be okay, and then when they get it, there's the celebration. So I think there's a form of struggles, but it's not the same kind of the Four of Pentacles, where we're trying to struggle in a way that we're trying to force a situation versus allowing. And I think that's important. Okay. And so this is your affirmation. I am open to new opportunities. Yeah, I feel and that's the inspiration coming through here. There are new opportunities. I almost feel like there's a need for shifting of how you look at things in the perspective of, especially from this 10 of Swords to a 4 of Swords, from this 4 of Pentacles to this 10 of Pentacles. I really, really, really love the balance in this. It's like there's so much balance here, and it's such a clear message. Well, so I hope you like this message. I'm very optimistic. So if you were worried about like, oh my goodness, am I gonna get pregnant? I see that there is a lot of like very big potential for it. If you are pregnant, I just see like a guidance of like you're such a strong. I also want to say that before I even like end it here, but very strong like energy around you, especially loving, caring. It's almost like, and that's why I really like this message, because it's sort of gentle but very to the point. I feel that that's the energy that surrounds you. I always think about it. Depends on how you, whatever you believe in, but it feels very much like fairies, but also like angels covering you in their love embrace. And that's something that I have to say is like, that's the energy that is surrounding you. And so that's why I'm saying pregnancy, it almost feels like there's a gentleness there with the baby, and then there's also like a gentleness of for those of you who are trying to get pregnant. There's a gentleness surrounding you that engulfing you, these beautiful like feather wings around you that are both protective, but it also just seems like, oh, so calming. So like it's a soothing energy. There we go. I could say it all out. All right. Sometimes I have trouble just getting the right words, and that's okay. Alright, thank you so much for being here, Group 1. I hope you do like this message. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. I'm trying to do a pregnancy message once a month. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I do. I have a lot of like, I'm very much a very optimistic person, so. But until I see you in the next one, I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Bye-bye, my dear friends. Alright, let's go ahead and clear it up for Group 2. Group 2 we have here. Okay. And we're going to move this here, and we're going to move this here. Okay. Okay, Group 2. Oh, I like how you're sideways now. Sideways. Alright, we're going to go ahead and... So this energy is a little kind of different from Group 1. And this is actually quite a gentler energy in a different way. This is it. To me, it's like, well, let's read what the stargazing is. So when you gaze in the stars, you give yourself very focus. Your intuition will flow more freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. So there's a yearning and longing here in this card, right? I feel it, and you can even just look at it. It's sort of like you're trying to understand. So this is almost like if you aren't pregnant, you're trying to figure out like, what's the next step? What do I need to do? It's sort of like, will I ever get pregnant? That's another thing. If you are pregnant, to me it seems like, will everything be okay? You're sort of looking at, I want to say the abyss a little bit. I don't know why the abyss is sort of what's calling me. You're looking out into the expanse. So that's why I guess the abyss would be there. But it's the expanse. You know, when you look into the ocean and you feel that energy of I would say pure, I would almost say pure energy and pure power in a sense. I think you're trying to get that energy here. And now what I want to say something here, and I feel this because it's a yearning. It's sort of like I feel like a bittersweet energy here. Like hopeful but not too hopeful. Yeah, worried and a little hopeful, like optimistic and a little worried. Like there's like this sense here. But what I wanted to say, what a very strong message is that sometimes the stargazing, right, looking out into this expanse is really that what we're looking into is ourselves. And I feel like the answers are coming from within you here. And that's something that I have to say. That's important. I like, that's what I want to say, that it's all within you. It's all in your own capacity. Yeah, I feel like that's something that you maybe sometimes we forget. We think that we get the answers externally, like in the, but really it's sort of like you already have the answers within yourself. Um, so it's a interesting energy here. We have rewards, and then we have yellow, optimism, hope, and friendship. Oh, look who of my friend came here. Friendship coming through here. So I want to show you this beautiful balance here. Excuse my little buddy. But we have the moon energy here, and then we have the sun energy here. And there's a sense of balancing both. I think that's an important thing coming through here. It's like there's a need to balance our emotional self here, the emotion, the moon here. It's a like energy, but also like our, and I don't just want to say external, but like how do I say it? The sun, hopefulness, optimism. Um, so maybe the reality here. It's like our inner sometimes reflects the outer, or the outer reflects the inner. There's always this balance here, and that's I'm seeing like a sort of like the reflection is important of the external and the internal, and the internal and the external. Very important here. We have, but with this yellow optimism, it's something guiding us here. There's a sense of, oh, for some of you, definitely. It's so funny. Wearing actual yellow might help. Lighting a yellow candle might also help. Oops, sorry that it did that. Of course, my buddy tail decided to move itself. So here we have, so lighting a yellow candle, wearing yellow. It's like yellow is a color that is needed here, because I feel like you need more energy, more vibrancy, if you will. But not because this is bad. I'm just saying that it just sort of needs to come through. Maybe even buying yourself some sunflowers. Yeah, I just feel like there's an energy. You're going again into the abyss. You're sort of staring into the abyss a little bit too much. I hope that makes sense, to the expanse. And so what you're seeing here is not a bad thing at all. The moon and the darkness, not anything bad at all. But it sort of you need to balance that out with this vibrancy. I hope that makes sense. Sort of like hermit mode. So the hermit mode being countered with the sun, but not countered, but balanced a little bit here, because the hermit does have that light coming guiding them. So and I'm like, am I making sense at all? But with the rewards here, oh, I do love this, because it's sort of like two things. And for because we have the if you are pregnant, it's like the rewards of parenthood is so big, right? It seems like right now you're unsure about things. You're unsure, and I want to say that you probably will continue to be unsure, because we never are. We can't predict many things, right? But there's a certainty that listening to your intuition, really listening to yourself, again, that's why there's like an internal thing. It'll be okay, and the rewards are many. And for those of you who are trying to get pregnant, there's like, if we can find this balance, the rewards are many. That could, pregnancy, it could be a reward here. But it's sort of like, if it's bigger. How do I say it? It's bigger than even just the pregnancy, even parenthood. It's sort of like it's at a soul level that is, there's this growth coming here. If you can find balance with the moon and the sun, right? It sort of will shift your, like, it's a big, I'm gonna make a very big statement, but it'll completely shift your life. It will open up your life in ways, I think, that you're not even aware of. That's the rewards here. Wow. I'm like, so deep, man. Okay, Knight of Wands. We have Three of Pentacles. We have Ace of Swords. Yeah, and then we have the Page of Swords and the Page of Cups. Look at that, beautiful. Oh boy. So I want to say this right here. Also, like, if you are worried about, like, the pregnancy here is, you might even have twins. This is like very different energy. So maybe for some of you there may be twins, or if not, it's sort of like, oh, really love this energy because this is like, it feels like definitely has two potentials here. So maybe for you, definitely I would say two kids might be coming here, very much focused. One is, or it could be that this one child has the energy of these two energies here, but well, it's a general reading, so I'm not specific here. But what I'm saying is there's a gentleness here with the Page of Cups, so very expressive, very emotional. Pisces, we might have it in Pisces season here. So very gentle, very emotional, kind of dreamy, but very strong too. It's just you would not know this. And then we have the other energy here of the Page of Swords, and that's a more a bit more rash, but not only rash, but also like a speaker of truth. Sometimes can get in trouble. Somebody who is very vocal, artistic, vocal, extrovert, possibly here, although not necessarily very intellectual here as well. This is like intellectual, but an intuitive intellectual. Very beautiful kids, by the way, or beautiful kid, whichever it is. But it really is drawing me here, and I could see why the rewards are many. They're like extraordinary, beautiful kids right here, or like kid. Um, Definitely, like, if even if you're going through that dark, because it's sort of the dark night of the soul a little bit there. I can see it now. Totally worth it. Yeah, like I wish you can feel this energy. And so if you're like lost in like, oh, like, will I have kids? And that's another thing. I always say like there is like pregnancy. I feel like that it is there, but for me here, I'm not gonna even say pregnant. I'm gonna say parenthood is important here. So because it could be that you adopt kids, if pregnancy is not what happens. But and that's an important thing to say, right? Because the energy here is like very distinct and very beautiful for these two kids. So even let's say if you do only have one, I would say maybe considering adopting another. There's two energies. It really is. I wanted to say one, a very complex individual, but it feels like there's two, and I want to say that. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. There's a sense of clarity coming through, and I love that because you need it. I feel like, and the clarity is the truth that it is. I feel like your internal guiding system, your internal, which is the intuition, your own intuition is really what's going to lead you here. There is the rainbow here, which is, sorry, I'm a bit gassy. Sorry about that. But the truth is here is that the rainbow comes after the storm. Right? There's a storm, and I feel like the storm is within yourself. It is almost like a little existentialist, and I get it. But I feel like the light is guiding you. Your own inner light is guiding you, um, and their energy is guiding you as well because they're actually such a strong thing that like their presence is so strong they actually came into the reading. And this is probably an air sign coming through here. Very much. For some of you, Libra. But for others, I feel like an Aquarius is strong there as well, and they could be buddies. Okay, so here we go. There's a sense coming through here of needing to collaborate with the Three of Pentacles, working on possibly getting help, because it could be that you have this idea. I want to have, like, this is my family. Like here we have somebody showing this specialist what they want. So maybe consider doing that, going to a specialist, getting help where help is needed. Yeah, so that seems like that, or like maybe if I don't know why, but that seems like that's what I would say. Or maybe even like building something. Or what I mean is like if you're having ideas about your creating a room, maybe actually getting a professional with all this stuff. But it just feels like there's a sense of you're not alone, and that's the message that I'm hearing with the Three of Pentacles. You're not alone. It's the help is out there, and you're gonna come to that realization through two here. The Knight of Wands. Oh, that's such a. I love this because this is I'm using it as a shift in energy. So, and you can actually see it here. I feel like there's a sense of excitement coming through. So even though this is different from group one, there's a sort of element here of like a new energy coming through, and that's the Knight of Wands energy. That's sort of like passion, creativity. It's sort of like it's sort of saying, this is the joyful optimism. Friendship is also, maybe friendship here might be coming through. It's sort of like a part of you is kind of moving you out of this, but not in a bad way, because it sort of comes from within. It's not like you're just being forced to come out. There's a legit reason why you're going through this, because I feel like there's a need for growth, and that's why I feel that the rewards are plentiful. They're very big and strong and beautiful, because there was a need for growth here, and you've asked for clarity, and it's coming. And with this clarity, you actually are able to finally take action on things. I feel like that's what it is, because you wanted to take action. You've been wanting to do something, but you weren't able to know what to do. Like, what's my next step? And I feel like you might need to go collaborate, ask for help in some way, but you're finally feeling this energy. You're finally coming through, and you're finally taking action in one way. And look at this. Let's look at what other the quests. Yes. So be bold, and mighty forces will aid you. Take action. Good luck favors the brave. Yeah. So you see how I want you. Oh, look at this. I want you to see the difference here. It's almost here like there's a sense of looking out. There's no, the arms are down. There's like the wings are down. There's no strength here. Like it's sort of like very passive energy. And here you have the quest. This is the new energy. This is the Knight of Wands energy. Be bold, and mighty forces will aid you. Take action, which is right. This is action. Good luck favors the brave, and that's the new energy that's coming through for you. You're gonna take action. This is a quest, and that's why and that's why it's important to say that, though. It's not like it's sort of bigger than just and I know like pregnancy and having and being a parent is big, but it's sort of even bigger than that. It's sort of like a whole life change, kind of. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Let's see what other stuff is coming through here. Okay, let's see. It's funny, I shifted in, but it's built, yeah. And so I'm gonna, for some of you, is summer coming through, and then surprises awaits. Yeah, there's some surprises coming. For some of you, the summer season is important. I also feel like there's a sense of, with the summer, well, yeah, definitely, surprises await in the summer, but summer is a time of action. It's sort of, if you look at the different phases of like the season, so winter is more about, I would say, this energy, passive, going in. Spring is about planting, so you're sort of planting, gathering, and then the summer is enjoying. It's like sort of like fiery, again, wands, creativity, all of that. And then the fall is where you harvest, where you actually, like you get all the surprises. So there is build, and this is, they came through in group one as well. So building being optimistic, building the thing, but I'll say the same kind of thing, a similar thing to them. It's sort of like the sandcastle will not remain. It's sort of like the pleasure of building. It's not because you're gonna, like, yes, you have the sandcastle, but you don't expect it to stay there forever. You just enjoy the actual, like, the thought process, the building, the creating of it, right? When you put piece by piece, where you have an idea and then you actually have it come to life, but you don't expect it to stay there forever. Then you go on and do something else. I almost want to, and for some of you, I feel like maybe because this is very much a summer card as well, maybe you will have summer is an important time, especially for maybe like getting pregnant or giving birth. But although Pisces is in March, so I don't know. But what I am seeing here, and look at the sun is again, the sun is there, is guiding you. I feel like the sun is coming out for you, but you might just not be noticing it because there's and again like I really do feel like there's like you're going through that dark night of the soul a little bit, but will guide you out of it. It's all about building and growth. I really want to say that. I really love that you actually had the energy of your kids here. Very beautiful energy. What else did I want to say? Yeah, so building a castle might be a fun activity for them as well. I feel like there's a sense here of victory coming through. I want to say take it a day at a time. I know. It feels, because I feel like it feels like it's too much. I sort of almost feel like there's a, and that's why I keep saying the dark night of the soul, because there's a sort of darkness, there's a sort of melancholy there. There's a sense of like, there's hope there, but there's also like worries, and I almost feel like, we're not sure about it. But the sun is coming. Like I can't say that enough. Like the rainbow is coming out after the storm. It's coming out, and it's really worth it. The surprises coming are really worth it. Again, it's like rewards coming through here. I wanna see what other messages want to come out for you. Moose wisdom. Okay. So we have this: let your head and mind reach to the stars. Love that. Yet keep your feet grounded on the earth. Listen to the ancient wisdom in your soul. The ancestors speak through you. You know much. Yes, yes. So stargazing again, looking at the stars, but we are staying grounded, being optimistic. There's a sense of the sun comes out. The moon is there, but the sun comes out. There's this balance here. And the wisdom, it's again like I feel like this is more than just parenthood or even pregnancy. It's sort of just, it's something bigger. It's bigger than, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger. It's like a whole. I can't even. It's so big. It's this expanse that I can't even get. But it's one of the steps in your life journey, and there's so many more. So I feel like there's a sense of like, don't get hung up on this one thing, because there's just so much more to come. It's big. It's a big thing. I could see it. All of this is like, and whatever, like if there's blocks or bumps on the road, it's sort of just helping you build more and more and more and become even stronger and stronger. That's why there's a quest here. Alright, let's see what other like affirmation for you coming through here. So I create space for positive changes. And that's, you create the space in yourself. I'm actually going to say in yourself for the positive changes, because the sun is coming out, and that's really, really, really big. So it's very beautiful energy. I hope you like this reading. If you did, please do consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. It just helps the channel grow. I really think things are going to work out here. So if you're having that, I connect to those. I feel like you're not alone. So that's something that you might need to also just remember. I feel like, okay, that's another thing I wanted to say. You're very, I feel psychic, intuitive. So you can actually even connect to these energies here as well. So to your kids' energies. So you probably already know. And look at different alternatives too, because you're meant You're meant to be a parent. How you get there, that's a whole, something. I feel like pregnancy is quite possible here if you're pregnant already. There's a fluctuation of emotions, but though it sort of feels like it's worth it. It's so worth it. All of this is worth it. Um, it just, oh, so amazing. Okay, for real this time. So thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you allowing me to read your cards. It means a lot to me. So I'm sending you so much love and so much light. Until I see you in the next one. Bye bye, my dear friends. All right, so we clear it up. Energy here. Da-da-da-da. We're cleaning all this up. All right. And we're gonna go for group. Group. Three. Okay. Oh, sorry. Group. Okay, we're here for you, group 3. All right. Oh, this has been so much. I actually love doing pregnancy readings because they're such beautiful energy. All right. So group 3, you chose this beautiful magical gateway. Oh my goodness. Let's see what it says. It takes courage and trust to venture into the unknown. Yet this is where the greatest rewards are. It's time to step boldly forward without looking back. And you know what's really cool? You weren't, because you're probably just here for group 3. If not, you were like, it's sort of like I can kind of see there's sort of like a connection with all the 3 piles. So if you actually, have the time and want to look at all of them, there's a little bit of knowledge in all of them. So you're stepping in here. You're stepping into the unknown, and that's a beautiful thing for you. So the unknown could be that you are pregnant, and the unknown is how to be like being a parent, right? It could be that you are trying to get pregnant, and the unknown is like, will I get there? Will I be pregnant? And even the pregnancy itself is sort of magical. I always think it is. It's a different experience that not everybody will be able to have, and so it's sort of like. But I feel like you're ready for whatever it is, whichever phase you are in your life. You are ready for taking that leap and going into the unknown. The door is open, so I feel like potential here. If you wanted to get pregnant, the potential is there. The door is open. You have the key to do it, to take that step. For some of you, I feel like, and this is what I'm going to say here for others as well, even whether you're pregnant or whether you want to be pregnant, there's a little bit of fear holding you back, a little fear that's like there's a little hesitation here, but I wanted to say, like, trust in it. Look at this. It's magical to go through there. Trust it, because I feel like a larger part of you is like ready to go, and then another part is like, I don't know, but trust in that part where it's guiding you forward, because it just feels like it's where you're meant to be. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You have all these different things. Okay, so divine feminine energy. 100% divine feminine, connecting to this divine feminine. So for me, for those of you who are actually like, oh my goodness, am I going to get pregnant? Definitely feels very strong here. The divine feminine here, we have the pine cones, we have the berries, very much so. And for those of you, and actually for whether you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant, this is an important message here. It's connecting to that divine feminine in terms of like, I want to say the sexuality and the sexiness. Kind of like, especially if you're feeling blah recently, we gotta pick that up, that energy here. So I like what makes you feel sexy, what makes you feel attractive, and sort of put a little energy in towards that, doing that, what makes you feel sexy and attractive, because I feel like that's something that needs to be brought up here. So yeah, just bringing that up because that's important. But yeah, if you aren't pregnant and you're wanting to know if you're pregnant, yeah, this is like confirmation that definitely is available. It's the energy is available for you. The door is open, like I said. How do you feel sexy though? Feel sexy and attractive. That's sort of what I'm feeling here. That's an important thing. So copper, oof, beautiful. This is nice. Energy, wealth, communication. So for those of you, there's like, again, and I am actually surprised because I put this 2 together, and I'm glad I did, because it's an energy flow that needs to go through. So this divine feminine needs to be allowed out, this energy to come out, and also like maybe communicating it. So maybe if with whoever you are, with significant other, like having a conversation, or like highlighting that. It's like, I want to feel sexy, maybe having sexy talks with them. Like, like there's a sense of sensuality, sexuality coming up again. So this is what I'm gonna say for those of you. It needs to be there, because it just, yeah, it just like energy needs to flow that way. I don't know why, but communicating it, and especially here, there's a need for speaking. Um, well, for those of you who are maybe worried about money, money is flowing in here. Oh yes, the hands are important. So touch is important here. So maybe communicating that can, cause yeah, touching is another way of communicating, especially with the divine feminine. I'm a touchy person. I like to touch too. Sensations are important to me. And staycation. So, for those of you, there's a need to kind of like which is interesting. I'm actually going to put this with the magical gateway here, staycation. So, staycation is, even if you're staying in one area, it's sort of like you're seeing it in a different perspective because you're enjoying it in a different way. So, I feel like there's a need for that. For looking at things, I almost feel like, and they're sort of connected here, enjoying things in a different manner. I feel like that's what I'm seeing. Like there's like a little needing to kind of have more energy flow. So even if it's like, even if you're growing where you're planted, again, sort of, but needing to look at it, things in, so maybe like shifting yourself a little bit. Yeah, because I feel like it's like it can't just be the regular. It has to be a little unique. It has to be a little fun. It has to be a little magical, even in your everyday life. That makes sense. So that's the staycation energy. Also, maybe for some of you taking care of yourself, the banana came up. That's interesting because they came up in group one, the banana, and that just sort of seems to come here as well. So nourishment as well, important. This is, oh, such fascinating energy. All right, let's see what other stuff is coming. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. I can see it, my friends. Oh, look at that divine feminine. Oh wow. Okay, my friends, and that's, oh, I love it when it all comes together. Sorry, got excited, but that's because I'm seeing here. The Empress is the count. They're both balancing there. The divine feminine is just like, this is an echo. This is a confirmation. So Empress energy, sexy times, my friends. Also with the Knight of Cups, the copper here, that is the communication, expressing love, expressing affection. Very, very important. For some of you, and I feel like this is here with the Seven of Wands. So some of you have been, I would say, maybe you've been feeling a bit depleted. So you kind of have walls up here with the Seven of Wands. It's sort of like a wall up is here. So for some of you, maybe that's needing to communicate with others. What I'm finding interesting is that you have the Ten of Wands at the middle of everything. And and now I'm gonna say something that's actually interesting, because I normally would say, oh, you're taking on too much, and you maybe are, but what I'm noticing here is that this little unicorn is tying up all these wands, and so I'm almost feeling like, because I'm taking it as very much, I feel like there's a lot of like passion, a lot of maybe creativity. It's sort of like passion, lots of sexy energy. I do have like sexy sensual energy that I feel like you're kind of bottling it up, you're kind of wrapping it up, and so I feel like it needs to be let out. You're sort of like trapping yourself here. I feel like you're kind of binding your own emotions, your own um sexuality, your own feminine energy. You're sort of binding it up. I almost feel like there's a sense of you coming through. It's like, I'm going to be very practical, or some sort of manner, but no, there needs to be an expression, creative expression. So it doesn't just have to be sexual, but it could be just like there's some sort of like you're kind of bottling in some sort of expression coming through. So that's why we have the Knight of Cups. An actual emotion needs to be come out. Like you need to express them. Needs to be expressed. Yeah, very much so. Seven of Wands is it's sort of like you have your guard up, and I'm not really sure why you are having this guard up. Sort of like you see you're having the guard up, especially if there's somebody who tells you that they care about you, and I feel like you're having the guard up for this expression of love. Yeah, that's what I am seeing. And instead you're kind of bottling it up. I'm thinking that the high priestess has something to do with this. Um, so I'm going to go into a more specific message here, but if it doesn't resonate to you, because it's not going to resonate for everybody, so please take it as you will. If it doesn't resonate, it's okay. So the high priestess here. Well, high priestess is very much intuitive energy. It's also, the high priestess sort of is a little bit more detached than the empress. So what I'm seeing here is almost sort of like, maybe for some of you, you are already pregnant and you don't really trust the person you got pregnant with. You have a wall up here. You're trying to find out whether this is something good or not, whether you're gonna let them in. Again, trusting intuition is very important, but I feel like this Knight of Cups is genuine. So that's something I want to say. This is a genuine declaration of an expression of feelings. For some of you, maybe it's somebody else's who's coming in and you're like not sure about this, but this is, for me, a genuine one. Just letting you know that that's an important thing for those of you who need to hear that. Yeah. For others of you, sorry, there's like a lot of messages coming through here. The high priestess is sort of like you're a little bit too focused on the spirituality, and pardon me, because I get it, too focused on the spirituality and need to be more connected to your, again, divine feminine. The divine feminine in terms of like more practical, more here, more emotional, more like, yes, like it's not just, because I'm saying sexual energy, but not just sexual. It's sort of like that, like taking care of the family, that energy. Like it's like a little bit, you're too much in your spiritual. You need to come down a little bit to this plane here for a little while, because I feel like there's, like, when you're high up there, you're sort of also blocking your creativity. You're blocking this energy of like of like, well, sexual, sensual, but it's just more than just that. And so I'm saying like this. So, because especially, okay, so if you are wanting to get pregnant, this is important because you're a little bit too high up there. You have like the physicalities here. If like there is, you know, things need to happen physically for you to actually be able to become pregnant. That's maybe something that needs to happen here, and you're kind of blocking this off. For others of you, I feel like if you are pregnant, you are, I don't know, I feel like I want to ground you a little bit more. It's like you're sort of way up here, you're like all the way, like, in this like high priestess energy of like, yes, very spiritual, but there's a, almost like, I want to say, spiritual energy, but you need to also take care of your body. You need to take care of like this. It has to come down because this is an important thing. I really want to ground you. I don't know why. It's like I feel like you're way up spacey, which is not a bad thing, but right now it feels like you need a little grounding, and that's why the Empress is here. The Divine Feminine is actually trying to ground, and very interesting, because these are all part of the Divine Feminine, really. But I feel like you need a little more grounding here, and allowing your creativity to flow, so important, and allowing expression of maybe admiration, love, whatever it is. There is a need to come through here. Yeah, for some of you, I was like, the Three of Swords. It's like you've been hurt in the past. You don't really want to let love in, and that's actually blocking you. So that's an important thing that's coming through here. Sorry, I just had to clear that fire because I'm like, why are you blocking it? You don't trust it. This needs to be healed, and the healing doesn't come from the High Priestess. It actually comes from the Empress. You need to heal yourself with this. Communication, very important. Allowing energy to flow. So I feel like there's an energy blockage here. So for those of you, it's like whether you're pregnant or wanting to get pregnant, it's like there's an energy blockage here, and that's your heart chakra that needs to be helped, healed right here, because you're not allowing love. Because this could be actually like it could be like almost like an Ace of Cups being offered by this Knight of Cups, but you're not even allowing it in. and you're sort of like a lot not, and I feel like this is, and the 10 of Wands is weighing heavy on you, not because so much of the of like the things that you have to do, but rather because you're suppressing desires and wants, and because you're one, not pretending, but you're focusing too much on this. I'm spiritual. Well, yeah, it's true, you are, but we're also here on Earth, so you gotta be here as well. Especially if you know want to get pregnant, or you're doing your pregnancy here. Very important to nurture, taking care of yourself as well. Let's see what it also says. Look at this happiness. I love this. Immense delight can be found in the smallest of things. Cultivate fluttering moments of joy. And the fluttering moments of joy, again, healing this heart. There's happiness and joy coming through here. Oh, I really like this. And then let's see what this, and then hawk, messenger. Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater vision to see the signs. Focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. Whoa. Yes, yes, yes. But by needing, this comes through from happiness, from delight in found smallest things, in the smallest joys, in the smallest pleasures. Yeah, I do like this. I'm like, I hope this makes sense though, because I'm like, hope it makes sense to people. I don't know, but I that's the message what I'm getting. I'm like, sometimes I'm not sure. That's okay. Dream big, yes. We're allowing ourselves to dream big, but it's not only like dreaming big. I kid you not. This card has been haunting like all the decks. It's just been coming up. Okay, so I want you to like dream big, right? And it's sort of like, but it's the ephemeral aspect of it. I really do, and I sort of like feel this Knight of Cups. It's sort of like there with this water. I don't know why it's connected, but I feel like there's some sort of love that's trying to come into your life, and you keep blocking it. It's because I almost feel like you're not sure of it. You're not sure of believing in not only that love, but I feel like you don't believe in yourself a little bit. You don't believe in your dreams. It's sort of like almost like a part of you wants to fail ahead of time because you're not sure. It's because it's scary to walk into the unknown here, but your intuition, your own self is saying no. We have to dream bigger, and then we're gonna build. Again, the sun comes out here as well, but the build card, and this is what I'm gonna say all over. It's like it's group 1 and group 2 also had this build card. It's sort of like the joy of building, right? It's the sandcastle. The sandcastle will not last forever, but it is the joy of the building. It is the joy of creation. Sort of feels like there's a sense of needing to unleash that creation, the energy flow of creation, right? It's very much so. And then like with the drumming here, it's sort of like it's very primal. There's a primal part of you that is not, that you're trying to like tie up, that you're trying to like suppress. And I feel like this is what I'm feeling. Like the primal part is saying, let me be free. Let me be free. Because this is important. You sort of like this dreaming big is sort of like you're not integrating the whole you. I feel like the divine feminine is saying you're not fully integrating me. And that's a strong message. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that doesn't resonate. But it feels really strong. So let's see what your affirmation is. Affirmation for the collective of group 3. I celebrate myself. I celebrate myself. I feel like it's celebrating the femininity. Like I really feel like there's some part of you that's like suppressing, and it's like it's just really like I wanna pop it out, but it's like I even wanna like kind of like come on, you got it. You can be. I don't know like how else to say it. So if you are trying to be trying the whole like be pregnant, maybe there's a part of you that's too focused on like I have to do this, I have to do that, versus of just really being there and being the divine feminine that you are. For those of you who are actually pregnant, it's maybe you haven't been focusing on that energy of like desire, like it's a primitive energy that I feel like you're blocking. It's it's like, no, there, it needs to be flowed. Please, 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 please allow it to come out and release it. Oh, because it's beautiful and it'll bring you so much joy. It really will. This happiness will be yours. The hummingbird is. I was wondering why if I kept seeing this image and I didn't know. I'm like, but how is it coming through? The hummingbird blows from flower to flower. The hummingbird can never be captured. You can never, it sort of needs to be let free. And I feel like this is the energy that's coming through. It's like you need to let it be free. I don't know what that means. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you, because I feel this is very strong message coming from Spirit here. Let yourself be free. I really want to say that. Let yourself be free. You're tying yourself down. You keep tying something down. You keep kind of bunching it together, or suppressing some sort of something. It needs to be allowed to be free. You cannot control things. And maybe for some of you it feels like you built up it could be a connection, it could be like a relationship with somebody, and it kind of just fell apart. We cannot control that. We cannot control, but you can build another castle. You can build something new. And maybe that will also fall down. Like, we don't have that control, but that doesn't take away from the joy of building. So, sorry if like sometimes I feel like I'm a little too naggy or a little bit of something. Please forgive me if that's the case. It's just like it's a strong message, and there's so much beautiful energy here that I just wanted, like, I really want to help, because I feel like you can clear it, because like Spirit wants you to have this. Spirit wants you to be happy, and that's the important thing here. There's joy and happiness for you to be had, but you're not allowing yourself, and that's why I want to help you as much as I can, and I hope it did do that. Thank you so much. I feel like completely honored that I was able to read your cards. I hope this gave you some insight, some clarity, and I'm just, like, sending you a big hug, and do consider giving it a like and subscribing, and until I see you in the next one, bye bye, my dear friends.